Hey everyone, Beardo speaking, and you are watching another episode of MINUTIA Minute. This should be a pretty quick video. I just wanted to make a quick recommendation, and then I wanted to make some announcements about my channel, just some stuff that you can expect to see coming up in the near future, etc., etc. But first of all, let's kick it off with my recommendation. It's not a comic book recommendation, but it is a comic book related recommendation. It's actually a book written by Michael Chabon, and this book came out probably 10 years ago, so it's pretty old. There's a fair chance you guys may have read this, but for those of you who haven't, I do strongly recommend it. And it is called The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay. Now, as you can see, it won the Pulitzer Prize in, I believe, 2001. And basically the premise of the book is about two Jewish immigrants who live through the Depression, and it's sort of about them before, during, and after World War II. So what does this have to do with comics, you may ask? Well, if you are into comic book history, especially Golden Age comic book history, this book, while it's very much about Kavalier and Clay, Joe Kavalier and Sam Clay, I believe, and sort of their life and how they dealt with living in the times that they were in, the book is very, very, very steeped in comic book mythology. Joe Kavalier and Sam Clay become comic book creators, and they create a hero called the Escapist, who's sort of a Harry Houdini kind of a guy, but a superhero version of him. And it's sort of about their experiences doing that. So there's a lot of sort of Golden Age history just embedded in this book. If you don't know a ton about Golden Age history, you can actually learn a lot just from reading this, because if you've ever read Michael Chabon before, he's a big comic book fan, and he doesn't make, how do I put it? He doesn't do anything without thinking it through. So, this is a well-researched book, and it's based loosely on a lot of different comic book creators, from Stan Lee to Jack Kirby to Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. So this is a really, really great read. As I said, it's not strictly about comic books, but comic books and comic book history is very, very prevalent in the book, and it basically starts from shortly before the beginning of the comic book, or I should say the superhero comic book craze, starting off with Superman, and goes all the way up through Dr. Frederick Wertham's hearings about comics and how they're corrupting our youth in the 50s, and that's about where the book leaves off. So, fantastic read. It's a drama, so if you don't mind books with a lot of dialogue, I guess I'll say, and a lot of character relationships, you will like this book. And as I said, even if you're not into that stuff, there's a lot of comic book stuff in here that I think you guys might enjoy, so I wanted to recommend it. Now, to go off of this, there have been actually some Escapist comic books that have come out that were put out through Dark Horse Comics that are basically sort of replicas of the books that would have been in Kavalier and Clay. I don't actually have any of those books, but those books are out there, so you can check them out. And then Dark Horse also did a sort of a quasi-sequel to The Adventures of Kavalier and Clay called The Escapists. And it was a 6-issue limited comic book series by Brian K. Vaughan. And here's issue 1 here. This I do have, as you can see. First cover was by Frank Miller. They have a whole host of cover artists on these, which is kind of fun. And it's not the best, but if you do enjoy Kavalier and Clay, I do recommend it for further reading. Basically, it's more about comics in the modern era. So it's sort of about these random sort of indie artists trying to get the Escapist, sort of revamp the Escapist for a modern era. And sort of it deals with creator rights and just the comic book industry as it is today. And then it also deals with just those people. Again, it's more about the people than about the comics, but the comics is a very, very large backdrop that you can't overlook in the book. It's not the best series ever, but it's kind of interesting, and Brian K. Vaughan obviously is a very hot artist right now, so I figured I'd show you guys these and recommend them. So we've got issue 1 here. And one of the reasons I took them out of the bags and boards so I could show you the back, because all the backs kind of have some fun cover art. So here's a a back cover by Brian Bolland, pretty cool there. And then issue 2. And back cover, what's on this one? Okay, so here is basically a cover that would be like the all-new adventures of the Escapist as written and drawn by the characters in this comic book. One of the cool things about this book, let me see if I can find a good example of it, is you get a lot of varying art styles because you have the comic as it is being let's see, here I got a couple of good examples here. Back to issue 1 quick. You have the characters in the comic book and the actual story, which is very just sort of basic kind of cartooning artwork. But then you also get excerpts from the old comic books done in sort of that style, and here's a good example of that. This is basically the back cover by Brian Bolland, like the arrows there, that's pretty cool. And it goes back and forth between those. And then also you get the new artist, going back to issue 2 here quick. So, and then the further adventures that are more recent, you get sort of this jock style artwork, and you kind of get to see sort of a lot of different illustration styles, but all in the same book. So even though it doesn't have the strongest story ever, you do get a lot of variety in this book, and so it's pretty fun. So anyway, there's issue 2 again, and we've got issue 3, John Cassidy cover there. And back cover is basically another all-new adventures of the Escapist. Return of the Saboteur. I'd read that. Alright, issue 4. And back cover. So here we've got sort of a bunch of graded copies of the Escapist. There's a whole bunch of kind of cool covers on there. Kind of neat. And issue 5, Paul Pope cover. Then the back, yeah, that's not really anything that exciting. And then finally issue 6. And again, not the best. I wouldn't go out and expect it to be, just absolutely unparalleled, greatest comic book you ever read, but it's solid, entertaining. Oh, there's a cool back cover. So there's an old school number 17 radio comics from May 1941 starring the Escapist. Cool stuff. Anyway, so that's my recommendation to you guys. The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. And then, if you get a chance, check out the Dark Horse books. Not just the ones I showed you, but also the ones that are available, that are basically just replications of the comic books that would have been if Kavalier and Clay had been real people living in the Golden Age. So, anyway, finally, a couple of announcements. Okay, so recently I've really only been doing Wednesday comic book haul videos, and I want to do some more stuff. So I decided the thing I'm going to do first is I'm big on comic book movies, and I thought it would be fun to have sort of a comic book movie review show to go along with the Wednesday review show. So like once a week or once every couple of weeks, I'm going to do a movie review that is basically just a comic book movie review, and what I think of it from a film perspective and what I think of it from a comic book perspective. And I'm going to try not to do totally obvious ones. So let's see, I'm not going to do Iron Man, I'm not going to do The Dark Knight. I'm going to do some older stuff, or some little more obscure stuff at the very least. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. I'm kind of excited to do those. The first one I'm going to do, I'll just announce it right now, is I'm going to do Comic Book the Movie, which is a direct-to-video feature directed by Mark Hamill. So if you haven't seen this already, hopefully you'll enjoy my review of it. And I just want to show you this now just to kind of give you a flavor of what the reviews are going to be like, the kind of stuff I'm going to be reviewing. It may not be a comic book movie, but it's at least a movie that is somehow comic book related. So this isn't based on a specific comic, but I mean clearly Comic Book the Movie has something to do with comic books. And so I'm excited to show you that, but that's coming soon. Not yet. No, go away. Come on, go. Alright. Anyway, what else do I have for you? So we'll be doing some movie reviews. I would also like to review some graphic novels again. When I first started doing these videos, I was mostly just doing graphic novels, and I've kind of gotten away from that. I'd like to do that some more. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. And if you have anything you'd like to recommend, let me know. I'm not going to do like a viewer's choice like Ghost Critic does, but I am looking for ideas. So let me know if you have an idea. Maybe I'll do a review of it. And then finally, the movie I am most excited for this year is Batman: The Dark Knight Rises. And yes, I'm more excited for it than the Avengers. I'm sorry, I'm just too big of a Batman fan. I'm still incredibly excited for the Avengers, don't get me wrong, but Batman still trumps it. Even though he's had a million movies, I'm just that big of a Batman nerd. And so, as I kind of hinted at in an earlier video, I do want to do a kind of a lead-in to that and show off some of my Bane comic books. So I'm going to do basically a complete Nightfall, sort of show off my collection of Nightfall books, not just Nightfall, but some of the books that followed after, and those will be coming up sort of gradually. I kind of want to do it as a lead-in to The Dark Knight Rises, so like maybe once every couple of weeks you'll see one of those videos pop up. I'll have the first one up fairly soon, the next one will be a little bit later. I don't have all of the books in the series yet, so I'm working on collecting the bits and pieces that I don't have so that I can show those to you guys when we get to those videos. What else? That's pretty much everything I've got coming up. So I hope you like the direction that we're going, and you are looking forward to the videos I've got coming up. And also, one last thing, I guess I should mention, as you can see, I've kind of changed the format of my review videos. I'm doing the hand videos now rather than the face videos. And I kind of like it. I kind of needed a change after being gone for a while. I tried doing it the old way. And it just wasn't quite clicking for me for some reason, and I feel like I'm a little more comfortable with this right now. Let me know if you guys like the format, and you can see the comics well, and all that kind of stuff. I actually think it's a little bit more viewer-friendly myself, with the exception of videos like this, where I'm just kind of talking in front of nothing. So, here's a copy of my pick of the week while I'm talking, so you have something to look at. And anyway, let me know what you think of this new format. If it's something that you like, let me know. If it's something you hate, let me know that too. I am definitely adaptable. I'm enjoying it, but I want to make sure you guys are too. So anyway, lots of questions for you, so please comment down below and help me out. And other than that, I'm looking forward to next week's comics, and I'm looking forward to my first video review. So look out for those. I'll probably have at least one video up over the weekend before we get to next Wednesday when we have our usual comic book haul. So, see everybody soon. Bye.